thrill and chill tourism vibes ripping through Indiana. From coasters to creeks, we add up what it all means for Hoosier businesses.
Imagine a world where your deliveries arrive with unmatched precision, security, and efficiency.
Also, how an Indiana company's revolutionary drone delivery platform is making noise on Wall Street and overseas.
Howard floater falls off the front rim.
Plus, the health connection between the WNBA All-Star Game in Indianapolis and breast cancer research.
Scene 3, take 4, A only, Mark.
And the story behind a small Hoosier college making its mark on the big screen. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gerry Dick, presented by Elevate Ventures, Indiana University, and Liuna.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. On this 4th of July holiday weekend, I'm Gerry Dick. This is an ideal time, we think, to reflect on the value of tourism in Indiana, which is the state slogan promoting the Hoosier State as a place to visit, work, and live. From the shores of Lake Michigan to the banks of the Ohio River, tourism in Indiana has grown into big business, generating an estimated $3 billion in federal, state, and local taxes, that according to a 2023 Rockport Analytics study. And people are dropping dimes when they visit, spending up 7% since the pandemic. Another interesting number, the state's spring tourism campaign, it generated $176.5 million in paid media impressions. For a deeper dive now into the growing impact of tourism in Indiana, pleased to be joined by Indiana Destination Development Corporation Interim CEO Amy Howell. Amy, as always, great to see you.
Great to see you.
Let's start with the overview. In your view, the state of tourism, big impact on the economy. What is the state of tourism in Indiana?
Well, it's always about the economy, but we're shifting gears a little bit under the commerce vertical. And so that means, we're looking at upskilling our workers. We're looking at supporting our existing businesses and fueling main streets and regionalization. So we already promote regionally, but all of these other things, we look at it as tourism is the welcome mat for people to come to the state. So if it starts with a visit, then people might want to live here or work here or start a business here.
So really looking at tourism as a piece of economic development.
Absolutely,
really. Yeah.
Absolutely.
As you look at some of the new attractions, there are attractions, of course, all over the state, but some of the new ones, the IMS Museum, which is amazing here in Indianapolis, the Dunes National Park, which is now, I guess, a couple of years old. Talk about some of the new attractions.
Some of the new attractions, you mentioned IMS. I was just there in May, and the interactive experience is phenomenal. Just the hands-on, great for all ages. Dunes National Park and the state park, all of that shoreline up north. Everybody wants to be at the beach, and we're less crowded than Chicago. So let's welcome those Chicagoans to come see what Indiana has to offer.
As you look, I know in the past there's been a focus on agritourism and tourism, some of the rural areas around the state. Is that still part of a focus?
Absolutely, because that's where our main streets are, and we need to help those business gain attractions like Huber Winery in southern Indiana, the Orchard, the Winery, the Vineyard, now the Starlight Distillery. I mean, what a phenomenal place for families, for couples, for events, etc., in a rural area.
As you look at a competitive standpoint, Indiana has not been funded typically to the level of neighboring states. I talked to Amy Vaughn, who previously led tourism efforts in the state. She's at IU Indy now. About that.
We've always been outspent by our neighboring states, Kentucky, Michigan, Illinois. That's always been a challenge. I think we have always punched above our weight in terms of collaboration and partnerships among the tourism industry. So I think the more ways that we can continue to collaborate, like that, I think is a point of differentiation for us.
How about that funding challenge, if you will? Collaboration, is that key?
Collaboration is key. We recently welcomed tour operators and media from Dublin for the Aer Lingus flight collaborated with Visit Indy on that. And we collaborate with partners all across of our state. And that includes economic developments, chambers, you name it. We just want the word out of how great Indiana is. And that's really what the key is. It's the people, it's our Hoosier hospitality. That's how we differentiate ourselves. And that's the possibilities that Amy Vaughn was talking about.
Yeah, and as you look, as we wrap up at opportunities going forward, is it under that kind of that economic development umbrella?
Absolutely. And so visitor attraction is talent attraction. As I said, we open the door, we show people the possibilities of Indiana, so they want to live here, they want to move here, they want to work here, start a business here. So it's all about opportunity and possibilities. Amy
Howell, the Indiana Destination Development Corporation, the interim CEO. Amy, always great to see you. Have a great 4th.
Thank you, you too.
All right. Well, up next, Indiana's role in drone delivery. What's behind this high-tech tool and why it's making waves on Wall Street and across the globe. Well, it doesn't get much better than that for this or any company. The sound of success ringing the bell in the Big Apple to get the day started for investors. An adrenaline rush, no doubt, for Fishers-based startup Arrive AI as the company and hundreds of supporters open the Nasdaq market site. We've been following this story for a number of years, a company using drones as delivery tools, a company that started with a napkin and a dream.
Imagine a world where your deliveries arrive with unmatched precision, security, and efficiency.
It is billed as a platform that will make secure, autonomous delivery a reality. An AI-powered network, the company says, will revolutionize last-mile delivery with a network connecting people, robots, and drones. Founder Dan O'Toole sketched out the idea for what was originally known as Drone Deck on a napkin in 2014. A week later, he beat Amazon and the United Postal Service to the patent office by a matter of days and launched an entrepreneurial journey he describes as surreal.
I had this idea, it just took hold of me like nothing else ever in my life. It's a bigger force, right? And something just said, this is it. This is the biggest thing I've ever been involved with. And so I literally sold a company that I had at the time because I was so all in on this, and gave me the impetus to fund it for the first 6.5 years through the sale of that company.
Arrive AI's evolution to an autonomous delivery network is fueling momentum.
And this is how you'll be getting your packages in the future.
In May, Arrive AI launched its first revenue-generating deal at Hancock Regional Hospital, installing smart mailboxes for the transport of biospecimens.
We celebrate Arrive AI's listing on the Nasdaq. Congratulations again, everyone.
The company went public May 15th. After receiving its 8th U.S. patent on June 15th, Arrive stock jumped from around $6 to $15 on trading of 41 million shares. And late last month, Arrive AI announced a partnership with India's Sky Air Mobility, with plans to launch 500 Arrive points in the densely populated country, including New Delhi.
We think we're the next big platform company. We have the market opportunities the largest in the world. 165 million addresses here in the U.S. That number grows by 4,000 addresses every day. If you look at the top 7 companies in the Fortune 100, they're all platform businesses. Meta, Facebook, Google, Amazon, others. We think we've got that scalability, and it's a brand new market, so we're not really competing. We've got the protection of our patents to execute on, and it's a lot of blue sky out there. We're really looking to hit the ground running.
And Arrive AI is hiring. Founder Dan O'Toole tells me he expects to add about 40 positions by the end of the year.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
And we begin this week in northern Indiana, where Hoosier Innovation is helping homeowners save money. A military veteran and Elkhart-based electronics manufacturer are working together to help reduce costly home repairs. The Smart Drain Pro is an automated water heater flushing system launched earlier this year. The device uses a programmable valve to flush the sediment, which can affect the efficiency and lifespan of a water heater.
It also will make the water heater more efficient because as sediment builds up in the water heater, of course, it has a barrier before it starts to heat the water. So that's what Smart Drain Pro is, something that should make life a lot easier for individuals and give them some of their time back.
Sims tells us he's still looking for funding and wants to take his product nationwide. Well, Hoosier Racing Tire is revving up plans for a nearly $17 million investment at its Plymouth manufacturing facility. Tax abatement for the project has been approved for new equipment that is expected to improve efficiency and also retain workers. Hoosier Racing Tire employs nearly 450 workers in northern Indiana. It is the world's largest race tire manufacturer. The city of Kokomo hitting a home run with a new deal for Kokomo Municipal Stadium. A new team will bring the sights and sounds of collegiate summer wooden bat baseball to the stadium. It's located in Kokomo's downtown. The company hopes to transform the venue into a year-round destination for events and entertainment. Westfield-based Bullpen Ventures LLC will lease and operate the stadium.
Felt like it was necessary for us to grow our baseball roots here. Joe Thatcher, one of our owners, played professionally 9 years. A little bit inspired to get Kokomo's collegiate summer baseball back on track.
Opening day scheduled for next May. Well, Trine University and the city of Angola are teaming up to build a 3.5-mile trail around Zollner Golf Course in Fox Lake. The project is being funded by a $4 million Lilly Endowment grant. About 80% of the trail will go through wooded areas. Construction expected to start in the fall. Amelia Earhart is one of Purdue University's most famous alumni. This week, her alma mater announced a new effort to find her lost plane. The Purdue Research Foundation is teaming up with the Archaeological Legacy Institute to visit an island in the Pacific Ocean this November. The goal is to confirm whether an object seen on satellite is Earhart's plane, which disappeared in 1937. Leaders say this is the, quote, greatest opportunity ever to finally close the case. Still ahead, the WNBA All-Star Game and the plan to battle breast cancer. Now, Indiana Cancer Research is using professional women's basketball's showcase event to win the fight against breast cancer.
Exploding around a Boston screen, drives into the paint, through contact, good, and one!
While the biggest stars in the WNBA will fight to win the trophy, cancer researchers in Indianapolis are fighting a battle of their own as part of All-Star Week. Their game plan, a special event called the All-Star Cure to collect breast tissue from some 500 women. It's part of an effort by the Komen Tissue Bank at the IU Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center to find a cure for breast cancer. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta has the story.
One of the biggest crowds in WNBA history has pulled up to the American Airlines Center in downtown Dallas for the Fever and the Wings.
The weekend before WNBA All-Stars are in the spotlight.
Right wing, Lexi for three. Yes!
Cancer researchers want women to support something even bigger than basketball.
The outreach, of course, for sports is huge, and it's a great way to kind of bring in this health focus to a group that may not know about the Komen Tissue Bank, may not know a lot about breast cancer.
The Komen Tissue Bank at the IU Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center is the only biobank in the world that collects healthy breast tissue to be used in research. Comparing healthy tissue to cancerous tissue helps researchers understand how to beat breast cancer.
The procedure is pretty straightforward. The biopsy, I always say, takes a very tiny amount of time, about 20 seconds.
The All-Star Cure has the Komen Tissue Bank teaming up with the WNBA All-Star Host Committee to make a slam dunk for scientists and collect healthy breast tissue from 500 women. A similar drive when Indy hosted the Super Bowl was a big win, but this one is unique.
This is the W. This is the WNBA. This is women. Women work for women all the time. We are always in it for each other.
The donation process takes 60 to 90 minutes. Local anesthesia numbs the area, and a needle is used to take tissue about the size of 3 peas. And the Komen Tissue Bank's greatest need? Donations from women under 40 and women of color.
Black and brown people have very valid hesitations about participation in medical research. I love to go out and talk to these population members and explain how and why medical research is safe now.
And more important than ever, Black women have a 40% higher breast cancer death rate, but only 1/4 of the Komen Tissue Bank donors represent minorities.
We are the only ones who can help ourselves. Researchers want to study us to find out why we get breast cancer, how we get breast cancer, why the treatments aren't working as well for us. We are the only ones who can help them. If we don't participate, we cannot benefit. We are the only ones who are able to do this.
Researchers aiming to be as aggressive as the All-Stars.
Thank you so much.
For Inside Indiana Business, I'm Kylie Valletta.
All right, thank you, Kylie. The All-Star Cure is set for July 12th and 13th at the IU Health Simon Cancer Center. Well, future breast cancer researchers studying at the IU School of Medicine now have a brand new space. IU Health provided more than half of the funding for the $230 million medical education and research building, which is located right next to the new IU Health Hospital. It's set to open in late 2027. It features an anatomy lab, virtual surgery lab, and other spaces focused on newer medical technology, including telemedicine. The school's dean tells us classrooms and study spaces are designed for collaboration.
So this building is a terrific gathering point that's really going to be the center of the campus next to the hospital and the neuroscience center. And those clinic rooms actually have the identical, furniture and equipment that they have in the hospital. So they're going to really, learn firsthand. The surgical skills lab.
Hess says the building represents more than a decade of planning and partnership between the school and IU Health. When we come back, Hollywood, a script, and the small Indiana college with a starring role.
I can't talk, I have a showing.
Listen.
My clients are arriving any minute.
Eleanor, Mom passed.
Small but mighty, how Huntington University's film and media program is making ripples in the film industry.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
Hallelujah! I can tell you the denominator.
Well, film and faith intersecting in a big way on a small college campus in Northeast Indiana. Well, movies like this, A Carpenter's Prayer, created by students and staff at Huntington University, placing the school in a starring role in the world of cinema. Huntington's renowned film and media program now taking aim at high school students.
Try to imagine a life without timekeeping.
This is Time, one of the early films produced by students at Huntington University. Enrollment 1,700, punching above its weight in the world of filmmaking.
Once upon a time in small town Indiana, a group of people had a dream to start a film program at Huntington University.
And action.
We're in the business of big, unheard of dreams, but we want to be in the business of big feature films.
And they are making their mark on the big screen.
We're confident you're going to have these 4 churches united and the new one built before we know it.
It's a big project.
Huntington University's film and media program recently releasing its first feature movie, A Carpenter's Prayer, starring Stephen Baldwin, the story of a desperate pastor looking to build a new church.
On set this week, we have Stephen Baldwin. Let's leave him to do the miracles and me to handle the business.
On the technical side, it was better than anything I've ever experienced before.
This film is a great story that encompasses a powerful journey of faith. So for me, the story was so sweet and so authentic and so simply powerful that Hollywood doesn't do that much anymore.
The brains behind the magic, Huntington University Dean of the Arts, Dr. Lance Clark.
As a producer, director, and film professor, I know firsthand the power of cinematic storytelling and how critical it is to train the next generation of filmmakers.
I'm the script supervisor.
I'm first AC for camera A.
Second AD.
Best boy electric.
Focus puller.
I'm about to run this right here and man the camera.
You know, making movies is a lot of work, but in our case, it's a community of film professionals, along with our film students, that come together as a team to produce something special.
Huntington now using a $1 million grant to tap into the talents of future filmmakers at the high school level through its new Creating a Talent Pipeline initiative.
And this has been like 4 weeks plus an entire semester of prep.
A good chunk of those students, those campers, end up becoming students at the university. That's been a wonderful pipeline for students to learn about our program, for us to do some training early on, and for them to arrive more confident, more knowledgeable, and excited to be a part of what we're doing.
How's locations getting going?
It's great. We got permission from the store manager to film there.
Awesome. I'll get you that release for.
Huntington University, writing its own script, leaving a mark on the big screen while training the next generation of filmmakers.
I think I've definitely become more confident in myself in the process of being able to figure stuff out when there's a problem.
Making movies is hard, but it's definitely it's meaningful because it's bigger than you.
I definitely think God is teaching me patience. I have learned how to take things with stride.
We want the way that we make movies to reflect our Christian faith.
Kudos to Huntington University.
That grant we mentioned is part of a 3-year, $1 million grant going to Huntington from the Northeast Indiana Strategic Development Commission.
Her personality is very bright, very energetic, and so I really wanted the colors and the saturation in the mural to reflect that.
And before the WNBA All-Star Game, an Indiana artist is paying tribute to a sports and community icon. South Bend artist Nate Barnowski just finished this 24-foot mural of former Indiana Fever star Tamika Catchings. It's located on Mass Ave in downtown Indianapolis. And we talked to Nate about his design process, living in Indiana, and a lot more. And you can read it all right now on our website. That's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. We leave you this week from Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana, where they celebrate the 4th of July drone style. Go out and make it a successful week.